Episode 120, Return to Cherokee National Forest, Part 2. Did you know that sweet potatoes, right before you mash them, don't make a sound? Yeah, it's known as the silence of the yams. Yeah, I know, that's horrible. Alright, welcome to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki G. I'm here to inform, entertain, and delight your ear holes with all things off-road for the next 10 minutes or so. Why 10 minutes? Because let's face it, that's about all I have in the tank today. I am busy, very busy. I know it's hard to believe, but I am. Now it's the time that I give you my legal boilerplate mumbo-jumbo, but I don't have to, thanks to enslaved AI interns. So take it away, enslaved AI interns.
You're listening to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast, the podcast for the off-roader with a short attention span.
You can follow the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But never on TikTok. You can listen to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast on whatever the hell you're listening to it on now, including Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, Odyssey, Podbay, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, iHeartRadio, and on YouTube.
Got something to say? We would love to hear from you. Just contact the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast at 10minuteoffroad@gmail.com. That's 10minuteoffroad@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on our YouTube channel.
Thank you, AI interns. You are worth every penny I spent. First off, I'd like to apologize for any background noise you might hear. I'm going to try to filter out as much as I can. I've been kicked out of Studio A this morning, so now I am in Studio B, which is my lawnmower shed. And it's garbage day, so the truck, you can probably hear the trucks in the neighborhood. And between my chickens and my neighbor's chickens, you can hear a lot of chicken noise. And my next door neighbor is working on his truck, so you can hear a lot of banging and cussing. Alright, so a few updates. First off, my YouTube channel got demonetized. Yeah, so I'm no longer receiving my $12 a month checks. So, and that money's got to come out of the budget somewhere. So unfortunately, the quality of this podcast is probably going to suffer greatly, being that the budget has just been cut in half. That being said, YouTube's making me jump through hoops to get through monetized again. Long story. We'll go over all that when it's all done. All right, coming up tomorrow is the Western North Carolina Jeep Fest in Maggie Valley. And if you're listening to this, then it was yesterday, because this airs on Sunday. Today is Friday, and I'm going Saturday. Going to hang out with some friends and maybe do some wheeling somewhere. Might do a little exploring on the way back through the Nantahala National Forest, which I've not very familiar with Nantahala. All my time has been spent in Uwharrie and Fiska, and now in the Cherokee National Forest. I'm starting to branch out, but I'll be in the Nantahala area, and we'll see what that has. All right, moving along. I recently ran into a fan of the podcast. The guy says, "Hey, I listened to your podcast." And I didn't even know he knew I had a podcast, because I don't really promote this thing too much, and I should. But he said he listens to my podcast and enjoys it. And I thought nobody listens. So now I'm going to give a little bit more thought to production value. All right, so let's just dive right into the show. Last week I talked about my trip to northeastern Tennessee. I started out on Forest Service Road 56 and turned on to 202. And then from there, I went to Forest Service Road 87 and 87D. Now, the GPS said Bristol, but I started out in Elizabethton, Tennessee. So I'll pick up where I left off. From the last episode, I worked all the ways up till I stopped for the night. So I'll tell you, my campsite that I picked wasn't really a campsite at all. I pulled in at dusk, set up real quick, ate, watched a little bit of Netflix, and went to bed. And when I woke up in the morning, I found out that I was actually at the trailhead for the Flint Mill hiking trail number 49. And when I say at the trailhead, I mean I was on the trail, smack dab in the middle of the trail. Luckily, no hikers were there. They'd have to walk right past my Jeep. If anybody went on the trail and saw my Jeep and freaked out and turned around, I apologize, but what can you say? From there, I traveled northeast on 87. I came across a real nice campsite on the water. But yeah, you have to kind of park in like a big parking area and hike your stuff down if you want to stay on the water. Or you could set up camp along the roadside and hike down to do your fishing or sit at the fire or whatever. Me, I'm lazy. I would just set up a chair down by the lake. It's easier to carry one chair than a whole bunch of crap. Or just find another campsite. Good campsites are hard to come by, but I tend to pass up the ones that you kind of have to walk to because, I'm lazy. I'm out there to relax. I'm not out there to work, although I do more yard work while I'm camping than I do when I'm at home. After that, I went down 87 some more. I came across the Little Oak Campground, which is a state-run campground. It has a nice paved road to it. And after Little Oak, 87 is kind of paved and a lot smoother, so you can access Little Oak Campground if you're coming from the east. I was traveling west to east, so if you're traveling from east to west, it's a short drive off the main road and a lot smoother drive if you're pulling a camper or got an RV. But anyhow, I only drove down to the guard shack, and they wouldn't let me in to look around. But they did tell me that it had 68 sites, all of them with a lake view. They have a concrete boat ramp and showers, and all for the low price of $12 a night. But it's only open from April to November. Now, I don't know if that's April 31st or April 1st or November 1st, November 31st, who knows? But don't cut it that close if you want to go. Okay, after I left Little Oak Campground, I quickly came to 421. Like I said earlier, it's a short drive. And you can cross 421 and continue on the Forest Service roads all the way up to Damascus, which I did way back in January when I attempted to climb White Top Mountain, but it was all snowed in, and I kept sliding off the trail. Since I was on that road in January, I decided just to go east on 421 about a quarter of a mile and turn on the Forest Service Road 4002 that runs into 32 on to Damascus. It was closed when I was there in January, and I vowed to come back. And guess what? It was closed again. I misread the Forest Service bulletin. I gave the dates it was open. It's open from September to January. So since the gate was closed, I was kind of dismayed. I decided just to head back into North Carolina, see what I could find, and spend the night somewhere in my own stomping grounds in Fiska. When I started back to North Carolina, I went on 421, and I didn't know this, but they have the 421 Snake, which is 112 miles with 489 curves, crossing 3 mountains and 1 valley. And if you're familiar with the Tail of the Dragon here in North Carolina, it's just a winding, twisting road that everybody likes to get on their little bikes and their little racer cars and haul ass down the road, trying to take the curves as tight and as fast as they can. It's a danger. I try to stay off those roads because last thing you want to do if you're in your Porsche hauling ass down a country road, and then you come across a big square red brick doing 15 miles an hour, because that's about how fast I could take a tight curve. It's kind of dangerous. So I tend to stay off those roads, but there was no other way around it for me. So I took it. And I was only on the Snake for 37 miles, which was pretty nerve-gripping. And it was on a Thursday morning, so there was no traffic, so to speak of. There were signs telling trucks to stay off the road. And if you're on the 421 Snake, you got to stop at the Shady Valley Country Store. I stopped there to get a drink. Nice little country store. Anytime you see these little mom and pop country stores, you got to stop and buy something. Let's keep those guys in business. They're the, I won't say heart and soul of overlanding, but it's nice to come off the mountain and get supplies real quick if you need it, and then continue on. In Vilas, North Carolina, or Villas, however you want to say it, some podunk country town in North Carolina. I could have stayed on the road, 421 or whatever hell road I was on, and took it to Boone. But then I took 194, which was a small country road, into Newland, past Grandfather Mountain, and then I turned on Edgemont Road, which I believe is 54, Service Road 54. Google Maps had it listed as Road 1514, but Gaia has it listed as for Service Road 54. But either way, it's Edgemont Road. I've been on it before. It's how you get to Old House Gap Road, and it's a nice little drive. There's a lot of water. I'll call them water features. They're waterfalls, but they're not big, tall waterfalls. They're more like babbling brook type things, which I kind of enjoy. Very pretty to look at. Mrs. Nikki G really enjoys looking at those things. All right, so that's about all the time I have. I rambled on long enough. Until next time, this is Nikki G saying, "Will what you got and be happy."